as of a couple years ago, we were looking at only 16% of enterprises that had adopted cloud backup within their company. And 69% of those same businesses surveyed were looking into it. So that's a huge amount of people that were evaluating it. That number that has adopted it has doubled in that time frame. So right now we're looking at approximately 30% of individuals in SMBs and enterprises that have adopted cloud backup. And the reasons are largely due to cost and offloading that competency of managing backups and encryption and keeping the data truly secure offsite. So this is a trend that you're going to see continue, and it's a very cost-effective trend for you. So I definitely encourage you to call up your partner specialist after this demo is over and talk about pricing with them, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And if you don't have that number is 877-896-3611.
Okay. So we have our demo server in front of us, and hopefully everyone can see that okay. I do have a question here. We said if I have a 700 gigabyte of data to be backed up, and I want multiple images, say hourly, say for 2 weeks, how do you price that? Well, first off, I would tell you that any backups you create are going to be locally stored on your own media, and if you want those images uploaded to the cloud, that's up to you. You can specify how often they go up with using our ImageStream product. Now, once you have those images in the cloud, there's no set retention. There's no retention settings you can set for the cloud. You must use the software client, meaning the SOS on the backup recovery software or the ImageStream software. You log in, and you would have to manually delete those images if that's what you wanted. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here is this server save piece here. This is just an executable that runs and allows you just to install these applications. Once they're installed, you don't need to have this up and running. So basically, this again, it's just for installing the programs, and also this is how you get your license information. So here's my license key for Image Creator, which is StorageCraft. Here's my license file for EDR, Pro Launchpad, and this is the license details for the management console or management agent. So over here, I'm going to go launch Image Creator, which is Shadow Protect. And this is similar to other backup programs. On the right-hand side, notice there is a network view, which allows you to manage other instances of Shadow Protect. So I do have some backup jobs here. Let me remove this so I can show you how it works. I'll go to the Wizards, do a backup, and it does show my my disks. And sorry, I'm a little confused because it usually looks a little different than that. Let me just try this here. Okay. Sorry, usually there's checkboxes next to these items here. And so I just click those two drives. Typically, that's how you back up your disks on your server. If you just wanted to back up your Exchange disk, that is possible to create an image for that. The system reserve partition usually is not backed up. VSS doesn't always like that being backed up. If you want to, you can try and do that, but it's not required to do a full model recovery. So just for this purpose of the demo, I'm just going to back up the E drive, make it faster for you guys. Here's my new location. It's going to my F drive. However, most people are going to have this go to a network location where you create a network share on a server or a PC at a customer's business. And here's where you type in the information of that network share, and then it will save that for the backup. Make sure it has a good connection and credentials for each time. So I'll just go to the F drive. Next thing we have here is the schedule. Now we actually recommend that you use continuous incrementals. We recommend that because it uses the least amount of local and offsite storage. If you were to use monthly or weekly, you would be creating more full backups, and you would need more local storage to accommodate that. So we recommend continuous incrementals. It'll automatically do a full backup the first time. After that, just incrementals. And by default, it's set up to run every hour. However, if you want to run just once a day, you just make the start time the same as the end time, and you'll see the incrementals or backups per day will switch down to 1, like I've done right there. Now you'll notice it says use VSS, VSS incremental backups. It's saying that there because when this product first came out, it didn't use VSS to run backup as an image. But VSS is a Microsoft product, and if you do want VSS to be enabled on your backups, you want to have these boxes checked. So it is recommended. I can't really convince you why you'd want to uncheck that. The next screen here is options. One of these options is compression. Standard compression will compress your image about 50%, and high compression will compress about to 60 to 80% compression. And what I mean by that is however much space you're using on a disk, that's the size your image will be. However, if you have on high compression or standard compression, it's going to be between 50 and 80% of that size. So if I have a 200 gigabyte disk, I'm using 100 gigabytes of that. My first backup image with high compression might be about 30 gigs, if I'm lucky. If you want to add more encryption, you can. This will only be for the benefit of having more local security, because we will encrypt any files you back up. And once you check that box there, you can hit Advanced and then hit the Encryption tab and choose your encryption algorithm. There's additional buttons here for advanced options like commands, so maybe using a script. There's the self-healing incremental recovery. You want to leave that checked. That's pretty nice because if there is some corruption or there's some issues with the backup where it has an issue taking an incremental, it'll stop the backup, it'll purge the incremental, and the next scheduled backup will actually be a differential instead because it's more powerful. And part of the self-healing process is it'll take a differential and then convert it to an incremental automatically and then put it back in the chain where it actually needs to go. Backup tab, there is I/O throttling here. And there's also MD5 checksum. It's just an extra verification step. So I'll run a backup here for you guys. And the logging in this program actually works pretty well. And there is a code attached to even the positive and the negative items. You can see that here. There's a code for everything. And if there's any issues, it'll be shown here. And there definitely is a great knowledge base from StorageCraft to help you with any issues. Now, look at the question, if I have any issues, can I call StorageCraft? Absolutely, you can. You do have a valid license key. You're able to call our team first and get assistance. They will engage level 2, level 3, if needed. If for some reason you felt that you weren't able to get service right away, then you would be able to call them and get some assistance because you have your license key. Now, I'm going to minimize that, and I already have some images created. I'm going to go over to my F drive here. Actually, let me dismount some of these images. These were actually images that were mounted for probably previous demos, and dismount. So in this F drive, this is where I have my images. And in here, you'll have a full backup and incrementals. Usually, that's how the chain kind of runs. So any one of these, I can right-click and go mount. This is how you can get a quick file for the recovery of anything you need. You'll see it gives a drive letter here on the left-hand side, Windows drive letter, and it created F. I'm sorry, we're still waiting for it to mount. Here it is. We got G there. So G, I can open up G and I can get my folders and files out of there if I might need them. Or if you do need an Exchange granular recovery with that mounted, we can then go into the EGR software and we can open up that EDB file on that drive letter. And then I can actually export any PSTs, mailboxes, anything I want to, any items I want. And I also can make a connection to a live Exchange database, and then just use the drag and drop feature to drag and drop messages, calendar items, notes, entire mailboxes, down to a live Exchange server and do a live recovery. So I'll now do a connection to the live Exchange server, connect to all mailboxes. And of course, this user does have full access to those mailboxes. And this gives me a log of what's happening. If I have any errors, I'll show up here. And now you can see I do have a connection. So what I do here is I'm actually going to simulate user 1 losing a message. Let's see. Let's delete both of these from user 2. So user 1 lost his message from user 2. I'm going to go up to user 1 here. This is where his backup file is located. Go to the inbox. And there's several messages in there. Well, let's say I don't know where it is. So I'm going to actually search by criteria using the search. I'll type in the keywords of Nortel. That's in the conversation. And it's from user 2. That makes it easier for me to find this stuff. So I can hit find now. And I have 2 messages from user 2, both the same criteria. So if I want to, I can just get both of these. And let's just, if I wanted to, I could export these to like a message format, or I can just drag and drop them to the inbox like this. Sorry about that. My mouse got stuck. Here we go. We get a log of all that happening. So like I said before, you can do any export to PSD format, message format. You can drag and drop any items from the EDB file down below. It could be entire mailbox. It could be any calendar items, inbox items, anything you like, any folders. The search button helps that. So very simple to use, very powerful. Any questions? I'll take them now. So this backup finished. We didn't have any errors. And it's a full backup, and after that, I'll create incrementals. As far as restore, you are able to restore the entire operating system using the boot recovery CD. This is an ISO that we provide to you, and you can use that ISO and mount it in a virtual environment, or you can do you can burn it to a CD. And as far as virtual environment, you are able to take any physical image or virtual image and restore it to any virtual or physical hardware, even dissimilar hardware. It does support all of that. Also, the fastest way to get a image that may be physical or virtual, whatever it is, the fastest way to actually convert that to virtual would be to actually use the boot disk and actually boot it into a new virtual machine and then restore it. There are some conversion tools out there by VMware that can convert a StorageCraft image to VMware. However, that process would actually be slower than just using the boot recovery environment. As far as the restore feature here in the software, you wouldn't use it to restore the C drive, but you could use it to restore maybe another data volume, and that'll basically overwrite whatever's left. So you can pick your incremental if that's the one you want by date and time, and then choose your E drive and then overwrite it. The Explore Backup feature is very similar to just the right-click feature inside where your images are located. So I can right-click here, I can go Mount, Quick Mount. Obviously, the Mount feature is more powerful, where you can turn off the read-only feature. But the Explore Backup is basically the same as that. I go find my image, and it walks me through a wizard of how to get those mounted. See here, I have this as read-only. If I don't check that box, that means it'll mount the image, and any changes I make during while it's mounted will be saved in that image. So you want to be careful when using that feature.